Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So today is April 1st, 2024, and I wanted to talk about some news that broke. I guess it's been maybe a week, maybe a little bit longer than a week. I've been just trying to get more and more information about this news. And as I'm doing this report, it coincides with another big day that falls on April 1st. So the first part of the story, or actually the main story that I'm talking about today, and I'll talk about what coincides also, suspects of ordering the brutal assassination of Rio de Janeiro City Councilwoman Marielle Franco, arrested by federal police. So anybody who remembers this story knows it made international headlines. What was it? March 14th, 2018, when Marielle Franco's brutal assassination it shocked the world. It shocked Brazil, but it made headlines all over the world. People have been demanding answers like who killed her, who ordered her to be killed, why is it taking so long to bring these people to justice? And so there's been little tidbits that have come down over the last 6 years. It's been over, March 14th marked the 6-year anniversary. And that was just a couple of weeks ago. So today being April 1st, this is big news that broke in Brazil. Like I said, I don't know, it's probably about 10 days ago, maybe. I don't know if it was last week or maybe sometime in the week before that, but I definitely had to talk about it because there's so many previous reports that I've done about this story. As I said, the way that this thing was carried out, it was like this was clearly a professional hit, and it shocked everybody. I remember this news story because I was still living in Sao Paulo at the time, and I just remember this was a story on the top story on the top television networks of the time every single day, for weeks. And then it just went on and on. They was 1 month has gone by, 6 months has gone by, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and people were asking, why has this murder not been solved yet? So the details of what happened like a week or two ago, this is big news that broke in Brazil. So as I said, today is April 1st. The other thing that coincides with me doing this report today is that today makes 60 years since the military dictatorship, the coup d'etat that took over Brazil on March 31st of 1964. And the military was implanted in Brazil on April 1st of 1964. I covered this when it was the 50-year anniversary, and now it's been 10 years later. And so it's been 60 years. 60 years since the coup. Brazil has not come to terms with the past and lives with the legacy of the dictatorship. So that was big news. Dictatorships that was spreading across Latin America. People talked a lot about the United States. What was the United States involvement in this whole takeover in Brazil? It's been well documented, even though there's since 60 years later, Brazilians called on the United States to declassify its role when they overtook the government of Jango, as he's called. What's his name? João. Wow, I can't remember. João Goulart. So he was deposed as president on officially April 1st, 1964. So it's been 60 years since Brazil, the military regime took over in Brazil. So how crazy is it? The military dictatorship that led to thousands of people being killed, tortured, disappeared. And here it is on April 1st, and I'm talking about the brutal assassination of Marielle Franco. Obviously it didn't happen on the exact same day or anything, but it's just the day that I'm talking about this. Articles have been coming out for maybe a week or two now. They're talking about the 60th anniversary of the dictatorship that ruled Brazil from 1964 to 1985. So let me get into the story about Marielle and the developments that have come out in the last few weeks. Before I move on, just want to ask you to take the time to just subscribe to the channel, like this video. share this video, click on the notification bell. It always helps, for YouTube to promote this video. So with that said, let's get directly into this video for today, talking about these developments in the Marielle Franco situation. So I've already said this. Marielle Franco, this lady here, was murdered March 14th, 2018. This marks 6 years since she was brutally assassinated. It's been 6 years and 2 weeks now. And the investigations have been going on and on and on. There's been a lot of developments over the years. I couldn't even cover everything because, I was just kind of hoping like one of these days this murder mystery will be solved. And as I said before, March 14, 2014, 2019, it marked 1 year, this murder that shocked Brazil and the rest of the world. Other developments, 2 suspects were arrested. One was former President Bolsonaro's neighbor, and the other one, he dated one of the daughters of one of the people that was arrested in 2019. Apparently, this person dated one of the daughters of President Bolsonaro. For a while, there were discussions on Bolsonaro's ties to militias and if he had any involvement in taking out Marielle Franco. I'm going to have to go back on. I haven't heard this for a while, but for a while there was speculation that was just questioning, is Bolsonaro, did he have any connection to this? Recent corruption charges of President's son, Flavio Bolsonaro, and the links to militias led to a shocking possibility, the involvement in the murder of Rio councilwoman Marielle Franco. Going to have to follow up on that because I haven't heard much about that since then, but I'm saying back in 2019, that's what the speculation was, that the Bolsonaro family had some ties to some of those who were involved in the assassination of Marielle Franco. So these are all of the articles that I've done. I haven't really spoken much on Marielle since it's been a few years. I check in every now and then, just some really suspicious stuff that have been happening. This guy had to be shut up. Says the employee linked to witness an investigation of Rio councilwoman Marielle Franco's murder was found shot to death. So it goes on and on. Ex-president of Marielle Franco's PSOL political party believes that Rio's 41st Military Police Battalion, one of the state's deadliest, are main suspects in councilwoman's murder. Everything points to a political motivation behind this execution. I mean, it just goes on and on. I can't begin to just summarize everything that's happened in developments over the last 6 years. So this is still big news. When Marielle was taken out in March of 2018, tens of thousands of people took to the streets in protest against her murder. You saw everybody, stop killing us. These are major cities in Brazil. This is Rio. This is Avenida Paulista in Sao Paulo. This is Belo Horizonte. You saw tens of thousands of people out. And look at this picture here, the scene in Rio, where not only Marielle, but also the driver who was taking her home that night on March 14, 2018, he was also murdered. So we have to remember, it wasn't just Marielle that was taken out. It was also her driver. Of course, this is Marielle Franco. She was born in 1979. She was murdered in 2018. This was the casket of her funeral. Again, this is Avenida Paulista by the Mosby building, the museum. Protesters on Avenida Paulista in Sao Paulo. It's hard to believe. It's been 6 years. This has been a catchphrase that a lot of people who supported Marielle use, is Marielle is present today and always. So just wanted to give you a heads up. I know in Brazil, this is something that people have been talking about for the last 6 years, but on the international scale, maybe not so much, but it's still fresh in the memory of anybody who remembers that day. So who was Marielle Franco and why was she murdered? So for those of you who don't know, Marielle Franco was the city councilwoman of the city of Rio de Janeiro, representing the PSOL party, or the Partido Socialismo e Liberdade, meaning the Socialism and Liberty Party. She served from January of 2017 until she was brutally assassinated in a professional hit, again on March 14, 2018. Franco earned a master's degree in the area of public administration and earned a reputation for her criticism of the rampant police violence that dominated the city's poor community slums, known as favelas. Marielle was a leftist, a Black woman, and a lesbian. Three titles alone that could very well earn her enemies. But over the past 6 years, there have been various theories as to who ordered her assassination and why. After her brutal murder shocked Brazil and the rest of the world, investigations into the assassinations began. A little more than 6 months after these investigations began, an anonymous source led police to Rani Lessa, a retired sergeant and former member of the infamous BOPE, the Batalhão de Operações Especiais, or the Special Operations Battalion. Lessa had the reputation of being an expert shooter as well as a hitman. So for any, if you, I forget the name of that movie, but it highlighted the brutality of this special operations unit in Rio's police called BOPE. I can't even remember the name of that movie. Some of you, I can't think about it right now, but it was a really big movie. I don't know, was that maybe 7 to 10 years ago? And it just detailed the brutality of this organization, this special battalion within Brazil's military police. The deadliness of this particular faction of that of the police. Oh man, that's gonna be nagging me for the rest of this video what the name of that movie was. Anyway, so these are the two guys who were arrested. Rani Lessa here, Elcio Vieira de Queiroz. They were both arrested. This was back in 2019. Former military police officer Elcio G. Queiroz confirmed his involvement in the murder and was the driver of the car that pulled up on Franco and her driver, with Lessa unleashing 17 shots in the car's direction, striking Franco 4 times in the head, with her driver Anderson taking 3 shots in the back. And I will never forget, there was when the media was covering this murder, I think it was Global Television, the country's top television network. They did a cartoon where they reenacted what happened that night. They showed a video. There was a video that showed Marielle actually leaving the meeting that she was having with a group of Black women. She left out of the meeting. She got into the car that her driver was driving. And then the security camera saw her getting in the car and then pulling off. It was the last video of Marielle Franco alive. And then from then, if I'm not mistaken, the video, another security video showed the car that pulled up behind them as they pulled off. And then when they did a cartoon reenactment, they just kind of showed how, I think they pulled up to maybe a light somewhere and the car pulled up and just started spraying. So that's an image that I'll never forget. It's always going to be in my mind when I think about what happened to Marielle Franco. Just brutal, professional hit. A federal police investigation indicates that Franco was murdered because she was seen as an obstacle to the interest of the brothers Chiquinho and Domingos Brazão, 2 of the 3 men who were recently arrested for ordering the murder. The shooter, Lessa, signed a plea bargain on the case, connecting the former city councilwoman's political activities to the Brazão brothers' alleged criminal activities, which have been linked to the militia and land grabbing. So we have real estate speculation going on here. According to the facts portrayed in Rani Lessa's plea bargain, the determining reason for her death was related to an issue that was carried out more discreetly by his parliamentary mandate. The defense of the right to housing, says an excerpt from the federal police's 500-page report. So apparently, Marielle Franco she was involved in speaking on being able to have proper housing for the poor residents of Rio de Janeiro. But then you have, real estate interests, land interests, like what they can build on certain plots of land, and, obviously earn millions of reais for, having access to this land, being able to build new properties. But Marielle stood in the way, because she was speculating like, hey, this could be land for people to have, poor people who need somewhere to live. And so they felt like, well, we're going to have to take her out. Now, this is the guy that she's affiliated with. Another theory behind Franco's murder was her connection to socialist politician Marcelo Freixo in the parliamentary inquiry committee that denounced numerous Rio-based politicians and police having links to the militia. Because of the heavy security utilized by Freixo, this guy in this picture, it was near impossible to get to him because, he traveled with heavy security wherever he went. Thus, Franco, being his close aide, became the target of the assassination. So these are the guys involved. These are the guys who were recently picked up, taken in for questioning. Suspects of having Marielle Franco killed, arrested by federal police. Again, these are the three guys here. On Sunday morning, the 24th. So what is that? That's about 11 days ago. The federal police arrested 3 suspected masterminds of the murder of Marielle Franco, then a Rio de Janeiro city councilor, and her driver, Anderson Gomes, in March of 2018. Those arrested were Domingos Brazão, current advisor to the State Court of Auditors, Chiquinho Brazão, a federal deputy from Rio de Janeiro, and Rivaldo Barbosa, the former head of Rio's civil police. This is these 3 guys right here. The operation was carried out jointly by the federal police, the Attorney General's office, and the Rio de Janeiro Public Prosecutor's Office, based on the plea bargain of Ronnie Lessa, who carried out the crime and named them as the masterminds, in a plea bargain approved last week. Okay, so this was about 10, 11 days ago. According to information from the federal police, the action was carried out this Sunday because there were suspicions that the 3 had been waiting for an operation. In addition to the arrest, the agents also raided the Rio City Police headquarters and the State Court of the Auditors. Again, these 3 guys here who were recently picked up. On social media, the Ministry of Racial Equality under the Lula administration, Aniele Franco, who is Marielle's sister, expressed relief at the news of the arrest. She says, "God knows how much we dreamed of this day. Today is another big step towards getting the answers we've been asking ourselves for so long. Who ordered Mari's murder and why? I thank the federal police, the federal government, the federal and state public prosecutor's office, and the minister, Alexandre de Moraes, for their commitment. We are closer to justice," she wrote. 6 years, the 14th was the 6th-year anniversary of the assassination of Marielle and Anderson, who were shot dead in an ambush in the downtown Rio area, the downtown of the city of Rio de Janeiro, on their way back from a meeting. The case had international repercussions, but has still not yet been fully solved. Even with the arrest, the motives behind the crime have yet to be clarified, even though there's speculation that I just spoke on. In July of 2023, the former military police officer, or military police soldier, you could say, Elcio Queiroz, accused of the crime, gave details of the execution. At the turn of the year, Ronnie Lessa, also a former military police soldier, who was accused of firing the shots, pointed the finger at Domingos Brazão, an advisor to the Rio de Janeiro State Court of Auditors, as the mastermind of the whole operation. Domingos Brazão's press office issued a statement to the Folha de São Paulo newspaper, in which it said that the advisor was surprised by the Supreme Court's decision. The TCE counselor states that he has no involvement with the characters mentioned, stressing that allegations should not be treated as absolute truth, especially when they are the words of criminals who have made murder their livelihood, unquote. Rivaldo Barbosa's defense justifies the absence of a statement because they still don't have access to the case file or the decision that decreed his arrest. So far, there has been no statement from Federal Deputy Chiquinho Brazão. This is Aniele Franco. She is Marielle Franco's sister. And again, she is the Minister of Racial Equality under the current President Lula's administration. What she says, the surprise is how this was engineered. This is what Aniele Franco, this woman, said, talking about the operation, the professional hit that took out her sister. This part is brought to us by Mundo Negro, written by Silvio Nascimento. We cannot trivialize or normalize the perversity of this moment, which is how this crime took place. Aniele Franco, Minister of Racial Equality and sister of Marielle Franco, used her social networks to express herself after the arrest of the 3 suspected masterminds of the murder of the city councilwoman and her driver, Anderson Gomes, this Sunday, the 24th, or last Sunday, the 24th, 6 years after the crime that took place in March of 2018. I'm outraged, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm angry. After watching a press conference and having access to some pieces of the investigation, with the secrecy being broken, we are here with some important reflections of this difficult family moment of indignation. anger, revolt. We're not surprised at the way this crime happened, but we are surprised at how it was planned, says Aniele. This is Aniele Franco with her sister, the late Marielle Franco, again, taken out in 2018. For her, one of the assassin's main motivations was Marielle's focus on collective well-being and social justice. It's unacceptable for a counselor to be murdered with 5 shots to the head because she was defending quality social justice, defending collective interest, to be murdered by a person who was only thinking of his own benefit and didn't give a damn about the collective. We can't trivialize or normalize the perversity of this moment and how this crime took place. We cannot. The minister also stressed the importance of democracy in the fight against crime. That's why it's so important to speak out and defend a robust, firm, quality democracy, because it's in places where people should be looking after the population, looking after collective interests, and not looking after ordering the killing or mocking of a woman who has been murdered, or making statements like the one I heard from a member of parliament last year about 2023, that death would come to me, just as it did to my sister, because I defend the collective social justice and the most vulnerable in this country. So here, Aniele Franco is speaking on how she's received death threats for standing up for, social justice agendas. So, and this is very common. You always hear about this politician or that politician, throughout Brazil being the target of death threats. I wouldn't doubt that Aniele Franco's been threatened. She continues, I'm outraged, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm surprised by a lot of the information that came out today, but I'm also increasingly certain that we're on the right path, on the right side of history, fighting for this country, fighting for those who need it most, and yes, defending the legacy and memory of Marielle, who didn't deserve, like anyone else, to be murdered the way she was. Aniele Franco concluded. Today's information is courtesy of the blog, Pellegrini blog, Brasil Paralelo, Brasil de Fato, and the Mundo Negro website. So this was some pretty big news in the development. Forces trying to come closer to ordering the murder of Marielle Franco. Again, she was killed on March 14th of 2018. It's been 6 years. These are the people that they arrested, maybe 5 years ago or so. And as part of the plea deal, they both started speaking. Again, Marielle Franco. So I just wanted to bring this story today because this is big news. Also, as I said, this is April 1st, which marks the 60-year anniversary of the takeover of the military dictatorship in Brazil 60 years ago. So anyway, want to know what you thought about today's story. Drop a comment in the comment section, like this video, share this video. Consider subscribing to the channel if you come back and seen more than a few videos that you liked here at Black Brazil Today. And with that said, also click on the notification as well, so that I'm going to do another part on this story, because obviously a lot of people are reacting to this news from, like a week and a half ago. So anyway, click on the notification bell. And with that said, I'm going to end this video here and request that you come back, check out another video on this video channel.